So just a couple days ago, we made a video talking about why I thought Jaylen Green is going to become the next great shooting guard in this NBA. And since then, the Houston Rockets have made a host of moves to better this team to not only fit around Jaylen Green, but give them a very bright future. And I just have to talk about just how good this Houston Rockets team is and how they're having probably the perfect prototypical offseason for any young team. Let's talk about it. But before I get started, hi, I'm FLB. I've made some content on the Houston Rockets before already. If you've been here for the Jaylen Green video, you've seen it. But I make content on a bunch of other teams in the NBA. I make videos this entire offseason talking about what teams I think are going to be good next year, talking about the moves being made. So if you enjoy basketball content, you just want to keep up with the league, I'm the perfect guy for that. So please hit that like button, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love if you have you back here. And if you've already been here, please again hit that subscribe button. Right now my stats say only like 95% of you guys that watch these videos aren't subscribed, so let's change that. So right after I made that video, the Houston Rockets did a lot of things since then. One, from trading Christian Wood and freeing up some space for what is now the third pick that had in the NBA draft in Jabari Smith Jr, who I think is the perfect fit for this team, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But since then, after trading Christian Wood, they've also bought out John Wall, so they have that contract really off the books a little bit. I don't know how much I don't know the exact how much they stretch it out for, or if they just bought it out completely. But then you also have Eric Gordon still on this roster, which a lot of teams are probably climbing for, because a lot of teams would love a guard coming off their bench that can shoot as well as Eric Gordon can. So you can look for him to be moved pretty soon also. But this team is just making space and handing the keys over to the young guys, and I love it. Right now, they have their perfect dynamic duo in Jaylen Green and Jabari Smith Jr. I don't know how much I've bought into KPJ on this team in the future a little bit, but there's a high chance that he's going to be, so let's say big three, but right now I'm focused on these two. And first person I want to talk about really is Jabari Smith Jr. So coming into the NBA draft, like literally the day before the draft, everybody had Jabari going 1 to Orlando, and everybody had Paulo going 3 to Houston. And I can't say I'm not one of the people that would have loved to see a Paulo Jaylen Green combo. That pick and roll would have been amazing. But right now, I think Jaylen needs to develop the ball handling ability that he doesn't have, or to create his own shot more than he doesn't have, faster than he needs to. Would I think been a little bit detrimental to his career. But being on a team like the Houston Rockets, where you have somebody like KPJ, you have somebody like Jaylen Green, you're not going to be forced to develop that part of your game as fast as possible. He's already a great spot-up shooter, has nice touch around the rim, and even though he's a completely sound defender, he has a nice build and could develop there also. So I think he's the perfect building piece for this team, where if Paulo came here, it'd have been a toss-up between who would be the number one between Paulo and Jaylen. But Jabari being here, I don't think he has the potential to be a number one guy. So I think it's a perfect place for him to be. And I think you found the perfect rotation of players to have around Jaylen Green, so that you now can focus on Jaylen Green being the number one on this team. And then talking about Jaylen Green, I've talked about him before in this video right here, but just to reiterate some of the things. After having a slow start to his first NBA season and people jumping the gun, calling him a bust, having the worst plus minus in the NBA, I think -17. The second half of the season was some absolute amazing things from Jaylen Green, averaging over 20 points. I think shooting close to 40% from three, going from having one of the worst plus minuses in the entire league to having one of the best on the Houston Rockets at like only -1.7, which is really great for a team that only won 20 freaking games, or 20 something games. He's just shown amazing development throughout his career, and I do think you're going to see probably an elite jump from him this coming season. And again, with a lot of more options around him, with a lot of time to work on a game in his offseason, put on a little bit more weight, focus on defense a little bit. I think there's a lot of parts of his game that's going to explode and get a lot better in this coming season for him, so he can be a better player for this Houston Rockets team. And then you have somebody like KPJ, who's somebody, again, I'm not too high on. I think he's really, I guess, a little bit peaked. I don't know if that's a hot take for a lot of people. Hopefully I eat those words. I'd love to see him get a lot more successful, because the Houston Rockets team is just already fun to watch. But even right now, he's a very streaky guard. You never know if he's going to go over 6 for the night or 6 for 6 for the night. but he's a little bit turnover prone, but he also has some really good vision at that one guard spot. He's a big guard, very athletic, can finish at the rim with some of the best of them. And overall, he has a lot of potential. I just don't know if he'll be able to reach it completely, but he's just another player on this team that's growing slowly, and I think can contribute to this team probably being close to a play-in team this year or this coming season. Then you look at the guys on this roster, from Alperen Sengun to Josh Christopher. There's just a lot of young guys on this team that's slowly developing and getting better and better. Well, I almost forgot about Kenyon Martin Jr. But the really thing this team only needs anymore is probably that big that you solidify at that 5 spot on this team. I think they can probably pick that up in the next draft. I don't think this team's gonna go anything crazy and just blow us and go make the playoffs immediately. I do think at most they're probably a play-in level team, and they may not make the playoffs. If they do, this team's a lot better than you think, and you can roll with these guys. But I think they'll be able to have, actually with all the draft picks they have, they'll probably have a pretty good one, or be able to trade some of those picks to get a pretty good pick to find a suitable center to grow with the rest of this team in the next draft. Or who knows, maybe the team does blow people away and you just pick up that guy in a free agency or in a trade. But overall, this team has just been doing a lot to really put the keys into some of these young guys' hands and put these young guys in the best possible situation for them to learn and get better with not only experience, but they've picked well into having already a bona fide number one that you're going to build around. Perfect utility player, big next to him. And you have a guard that's already really great in KPJ that has potential to get a lot better. And then you have the guys coming off the bench that all have great potential. It just looks like a really bright future in Houston, which is crazy, the turnaround that they've had this fast, even though they traded Russell Westbrook and James Harden, which are two of the best players in the NBA at the time they were traded. So I understand why they would get so many pieces. But to be able to turn this around and make the moves that they've had to get this good this fast is very, very impressive. And I can't wait to watch them this entire season. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think the Houston Rockets are a playing level team this year? Do you think they made the right moves? Do you think they probably should just waited out John Wall's contract? I don't know. I don't think they'll be making any big moves in free agency. I don't think there's a huge problem with that. I think that was just them doing him a favor so he can do what he wants and doesn't have to sit out and they just pay somebody that's not even actually working. But overall, I just really like this team. They're very exciting. They're one of my marquee teams to watch. Watching them all last season, they just looked a little bit undisciplined, and as the year went on, they just started gelling, started playing some really good basketball. It wasn't crazy high IQ, or they weren't showing crazy discipline, but they were just using their speed, their athleticism, and just their talent to really just out-talent certain teams and get close into some of these games. And with the experience that they're slowly getting, they can add the basketball IQ and understanding of the game to that talent and slowly just break onto the scene. But with all that being said, here are 2 videos that I think you probably will enjoy from me. One of them is probably going to be the Jaylen Green video, and that one's probably my most recent upload, but you can pick any one. But remember, this FLB, hit that like, the subscribe button if you're new here, or if you're not new here and you're still just haven't done it yet. But with that being said, I'm out.